How is the birth of a seeker of truth? How does this happen? There are abundant stories of what is called now saints, seers. But a seeker of truth, it is usually a disturbed individual. Normal endeavors, they don't satisfy him. He has this normal pulse like everyone else. Normal needs, whatever that means. But at the same time, all these things, in a way, they are tasteless to him. There is something there always disturbing those investments. And they are saying that this has nothing. As he matures and understands that the quest for truth is the only thing that is worthwhile, the weight, the heaviness of the understanding comes. Because he has the same pulse as anyone else. And decisions will have to be made constantly. Things being letting go, falling behind. What is life? What you call human normal life? The life where most of you are in this moment. Why are you there in that place, looking at those people and in those circumstances? Well, in a way, making it simple, it has to do with the beliefs you have about yourself and about the world. And with this, the ideas, the images of happiness, towards which you are working for. So it's not about security or houses or power or relationships or affection. It's not about these things. You see, you're going towards a relationship for different reasons. Most of these reasons are not clear, but some are. But the main picture is happiness. So you're not going for the relationship, but for the happiness that you believe that comes from the relationship. You're not working for money, for example, but for the happiness that you believe that comes from all the things that it can get you. So everything is about happiness. So as you move from a normal life and you start getting access to these spiritual teachings, it means you are ready for the next level. Eventually, you will perceive this. And what life is telling everybody, it doesn't matter if you're having a nice life or a very bad life or something in between. And pay attention, because this good, bad, between, it's about the concepts that you have, not about an external evaluation. It doesn't matter. It will not satisfy. The hunger that is there It's different. You think that there is a problem with you. And when you solve that problem, then that image you hold about happiness, circumstantial happiness, when all those circumstances are in place, then you'll be happy. And life is telling you, no, I do not have what you're looking for. Over and over again. And even in this subject, there's a lot of things that we have to speak up separately, but not today. Let's keep it simple. Life is telling you, I don't have what you think I have. And you're persisting, insisting, because that image is very important. It is a salvation. Then the frustration comes by this understanding that it failed again. But then, as this belief subsides, you will renew. A new hope will come, that in a new way you will be able to get to this image of happiness. So as these images remain investments in those types of circumstances will continue. But where do these images come from? And you'll go back to the beliefs, which you don't know where they came from also. You'll just be walking in circles. You think that that which appears in your intimate space of perception is yours. But it isn't. And if you have spent some time in silence, real silence, you will see that a lot of things cross that space that you don't even perceive it in normal perception. Some gain importance, others don't. But nothing is there yours as you imagine it. So the life where you find yourself, in a way, reveals from the most superficial to the most profound the beliefs you are carrying. And it's not about abandoning everything or not abandoning everything, but it is about abandoning all the beliefs. If circumstances follow, whatever, probably they will eventually. Because if you understand really that happiness is not circumstantial, that is just distracting your attention from the big game, from the highest goal, from glory, from the knowledge of who you are, you will put it aside. But even this, you will put it aside, it is a wrong understanding. Because the quest for happiness remains, no matter what. It only changes the names. It will become quest for truth. So, by understanding that which is robbing your time and attention with the same investments that take you to the same delusions and support them, you will divert your attention to that which helps the quest for truth. unavoidably removing your attention from the rest. So you're not really turning your back to things, you are just going after, in a more clarified way, what you're really looking for. So in the beginning, not all of you will have so much clarity about the nexts. But fears will be there to help you. There will be pointers. But eventually you will have to open yourself for guidance. And if you're really in quest for truth, that will be a need. Your need. So the real birth of the seeker of truth begins as he starts cutting these investments that are supporting human needs, human goals, security, attention, affection, the need to be accepted, the need to belong, to be a part of something, the need of a purpose, and all these things that will eventually, or that promise happiness, circumstantial happiness, happiness from this world or any other subsequent world, from the lowest to the highest, or from the grossest to the subtle. He will reject all these happiness and will cut its investments. And as he starts cutting, and the intensity of this cutting will depend on each one of you, on what it is possible. But a small conquest, whatever you can cut, will help you in a very intense way into the next level. And as you cut these investments, you will see what is always pushing you into these unnecessary things. Fears, sadness will arise intensely to make you go back to the same investments. Most of the times they will succeed. You will succumb. But if you're really, really sincere, you will ask for help and you will find it. And even this doesn't solve everything, because to find it and to use it, to take it, it's a different step. But eventually, if it is really there, the quest for truth, you will succeed. And these investments, cutting these human investments, it is the end of a story and the beginning of a new one. It is imagined that these cuttings is the end. But it's not. It's the end of a worldly story and the birth of the seeker of truth, the beginning of a new story, a more suitable one for the goal, happiness. But this goal is useless because this idea of happiness is contaminated by these worldly images of circumstantial happiness. It has nothing to do with the source, with truth. as you cut these investments, you will start seeing the fire that I have been talking about. As these investments are being cut and you are going through the struggles, then the process becomes alive. Before that, it's just nothing. And if you're sincere and you persist, help will come. But you will be tested. Obstacles will be there. Your resistances in a very intense way, and other obstacles. But if you're sincere, you will be unstoppable. If not this time, next time for sure. If not the next one. But you will not give up. You see, successes in the spiritual path, they are a help, but they can become also a big obstacle. Failures, by the other hand, they can become big helps. Because in the end, it's not about what you do, where you've gone through. This is just a process. It is unavoidable. It has to go through, but this is not the thing yet. So these failures will keep you humble, open. Successes, on the other hand, the real seeker of truth, his work always shows him that he knows nothing. Whatever he thinks he knows, he will see that has no worth. For the seeker of well-being, this takes a very long time. So I know things becomes a big wall that keeps him unreachable for anything that could really help him. So the only thing that can help him is suffering, which is a big blessing. And I will speak about this also in another day. The process of the seeker of truth is a living process. It's a very intense process. It doesn't leave room for anything else, really. For those of you, for example, that are coming in touch with spiritual teachings for the first time, and you're trying to practice certain things, you will see that to practice meditation, for example, well, while you're doing meditation, it is impossible to be doing something else at the same time. Choices. Whatever you eat makes a difference in your work. You will see this. Choices. Wherever you go, it will make a difference in your meditation. Choices. To meditate, you close your eyes. To the other undertakings, you have to open them. Choices. For one to increase, the other has to decrease. in the process of the seeker of truth, meditation has to increase the time. But this is another big subject also, because you can meditate a long time and still, but this is a conversation about motivations, right motivations. The seeker of truth, you see, those who are in a hurry, okay, so this is a worldly life, so I will abandon everything. Maybe that's not your challenge. Maybe your challenge is to be in the middle of that. Maybe your fears are more connected to be in the middle of that circumstance. If it is easy, what is the point? But understand that it is the investment and not the thing in itself. Because if it is the thing, if it is the form and not the content, what you will do is you will let go of this life or these things and you will transfer this for the new life, whatever that means. So nothing has changed. And I will give an example in the next one, probably the next one, about when people move to spiritual places, for ashrams, for example. And this will give a more clear picture of cutting the investments versus cutting the form and transferring to a new circumstance. And this is always happening. It is about paying attention, because you have struggled intensely to make this change now. Tomorrow, from inside, it will come the redirecting to take this investment, the old investment that was cut, into a new circumstance. To give you the impression that you are making changes and moving, but the core is maintained. You see? The body, when I say body, mind, whatever, is programmed for survival. If the life, the individual goals are dissolving by the lack of importance, by the lack of investment, so the food of the individual, that which apparently sustains him as you perceive yourself, this apparent individual also starts dissolving. Until he disappears. As it is programmed for survival, in a way you'll have to earn your freedom. Because from inside, needs will come. They will come with intense pain into it. Intense suffering that pushes you to, no, I have to go back, and you will feel sorry for yourself. And you will lose again and again. If you go through that pain and you stop this investment, you will see the nature of all of this. And this is not truth yet. Because the last part is like a boat that keeps on sailing, keeps on moving without an engine, without the sails, I think it's the way it calls, without any wind, without anything. last part is of stillness. And this stillness, we will also go into this later. But for this, a big epic until you get really established on this silence. With all these afflictions that you're carrying, that makes you invest in a lot of things at the same time, what peace can be there? What truth? What divine love? Divine romance? Impossible. So, your life, for the majority of you, for seekers of truth also, is still there. Material context, spiritual context, it doesn't make a difference. But you will probably recognize these human investments. This is robbing your gold. You're settling for crumbs. So no banquet. For that quest to become serious, investments have to be more conscious towards truth only and not relating with human needs. This world doesn't exist. It's not real. Do you have the courage to see it? You have to question it. It's not about making decisions of, oh, is this the, should I do this or should I do that? You have to question. So things are coming intensely that I have to do this. Let's see. I won't. There's no point in flying to higher grounds if you don't know how to crawl even yet. Silence and stillness, they are not for the afflicted man that cannot remain in that stillness, in this stillness, in the absence of importance giving to whatever. If attention is moving towards these things, no silence, no stillness. If you are afflicted by these needs, it is best to just go for a worldly life. Than to twist things. Honesty is a very important part. So the birth of the seeker of truth is into a fire pit. And this big fire pit is done with your worldly investments, with your human investments, with your human goals. You'll put them there and you'll put fire to it. You will cut the investments to them. Your life becomes a blank. No certainties, no projections, no tomorrow, no yesterday. Okay, so for an idea, for a vision of this seeker of truth, and how to begin with, you can give small steps and steps, or you can go for lion steps. Whatever you do, just don't stop. And I guarantee you that your fears will tell you that this is useless, and you will want to grab the old, unimportant things knowingly that it is unimportant. All of this will come. Oh, give up, that it's too much and all. If you pay attention to this, you will succumb and you will never know anything beyond this. If you go through that, through all these turmoils, you will know glory. You will know who you are. It's the same.